Hazmat, Long Meadow, Somers, Connecticut, Shaker Pines, Connecticut. We have a very tight mutual aid network. Each department can't afford specialized equipment, so each one of our departments has something a little different than the other. And just by a mere phone call, this is some of the equipment available to us. Our first demonstration will be with firefighter Tom McGowan and firefighter Paul Morissette. The K-12 saw we use for roof ventilation, chainsaw for any type of entry, and our new type of technique is the positive pressure ventilation. I'll now turn the program over to firefighter McGowan.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. As the Chief said, what we're going to demonstrate today is ventilation techniques. And our first toy that we're going to show you is our axe. This is what is our standard piece of hand equipment for ventilation, for opening doors, so on and so forth. We nicknamed this the master key. As you can see, it's pretty slow. Takes a while for this thing to get warmed up. And with the advent of power tools in the fire service, we hope to show you here in a couple of seconds how fast that we can move things along here so we can get into the building and take care of the fire as necessary. So Paul's going to crank up the chainsaw, show us what it's all about. As you can see, it didn't take any time at all to go through those 6x6 pressure-treated timbers. Our final piece of power equipment is what we refer to as a partner saw, or a K-12, and it replaced the axe in terms of speed again. And if you give Paul a couple seconds, we'll get the whole thing cranking here. Probably a little over in 30 seconds, we can have a 4x4 hole in your roof so that as firefighters we can go in to the smoke-filled conditions, and what has occurred here is that the smoke, the hot air and gases have been released through this 4-foot hole. Okay, our last tool that we'd like to show you this afternoon is new to the department. This is called a positive pressure fan. What we used to do in the fire service is basically just open up all the windows, and we had a fan that would take the smoking gases out of the house by pushing it out. Now what we're doing is pulling it through the house and out through the small vent holes. And we found that by energizing the air in the house, we can push the hot air and gases out faster. This particular machine was donated to us by the JCs in the community a year ago. We thank them very much for doing that for us. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Our next demonstration will be the use of the airbags. We use these if a person's trapped under a car, someone's got their hand caught in between the rails of a bike rack, anything where the hand tools we have are not powerful enough. I'm going to turn the program over, which will include the airbags and the Jaws of Life demonstration, to Lieutenant Brady.
Thank you very much. Just a moment and we'll start. The scenario could be someone who's trapped under this car, so when we come up to the scene, first thing we're going to try to do is stabilize the car so it doesn't make any more movements than to further injure the person under the car. Quite often this is a procedure that has to be done real quickly because someone's life is at stake or could be at stake. But we're just walking our way through it right now so you can see us in slow motion basically. We don't want to miss anything in the operation. You'll be quite amazed at how this works if you've never seen it before. They're removing the air from the tires to lower the car to make it more stable for us as we stabilize it. First thing we do is we put a pad under our airbag, that's in case there's any glass on the ground, and then we put our two airbags on top and then protect the top airbag from any steel or any other kind of metal that might cut the bag. We're simulating that someone is trapped under this car. We really couldn't get anybody to volunteer to lay under the car, so we'll do it without. But you'll see the power and the speed that these bags work.
Okay, Sarge.
There are 15 pounds of pressure per bag, and as you will see, it takes very little pressure to elevate the car, and it's very quick. Whenever we're ready, we all work together. We don't do anything on our own. It's all as a team. If you can see, we're getting the bags ready to raise the car. Just pay attention to the car and you'll see how quickly. Imagine how many human beings it would take to raise the car if we had to lift it by hand. As they raise the car with the airbags, they're putting blocks on the side of the airbags as a precaution, just in case something happened to the airbags, because we wouldn't want the car to fall back down on the victim. So each inch it goes up, we will stabilize that area. As you can see, the car must be about 8 inches off the ground right now. Plenty of room to take someone out.
Okay, hold on it. That's good.
Okay, very good. Didn't take us very long at all. We could pull the victim out and do what we had to do. Okay, you can set it down now. Are there any questions on the airbag? When we're finished with this, when we take it down, we're going to put a firefighter who's dressed up, actually has fire gear on because there is a lot of broken glass inside this vehicle, and he will act as our victim, our injured victim trapped inside the car. If you notice the vest that the two firefighters, one Captain Hawley, he's acting as the incident commander, he's in charge of this operation, and firefighter Frank Falcone is the safety officer. Everyone here has a job, and the job is to extract or extricate the victim and also not to get any firefighters injured or EMTs from the ambulance injured. So we have to work as a team, and someone has to be in charge.
Grab the bag and bring it all the way back to that.
One of our trainee firefighters
Hey, Richie, you want to walk the car and give us
Okay, supposedly we have a automobile accident. The driver of the car is trapped in the front seat, and we've come upon scene. The incident commander is checking out the car. Standard procedure. Not only is he checking the condition of the victim, he's seeing if he's conscious or if he's unconscious. Can he speak? Can he describe his injuries? Are there any dangers, any further dangers to him? Are there any dangers to the firefighters? Is there a gas spill? Is it ready to explode? Is it a simple procedure, just opening the door, or is the dash wrapped around his legs? Every situation, every accident is different, and we have to study it and make a decision how to act in a relatively short period of time. We've called the ambulance. Many times they're at the scene before we are, but in this scenario we've arrived here first. We'll work together with the ambulance personnel on how to remove the patient. Trying to open up the door, and we're finding out that we can't open up the door. Most likely they'll check the other door. There is glass in the car, so we're putting a plastic tarp over the back of the trunk so that the EMT can get inside. First thing he's doing basically is putting a support collar around the neck of the patient, because in any motor vehicle accident you're always concerned with a neck or back injury. Making the wrong move at the wrong time could further injure the person, and that's the thing we don't want to do. Normally one of the first things we do, if we had the personnel on scene, besides stabilizing the vehicle, is removing the battery if possible. I'm told the battery has already been removed from this vehicle. They're putting in a spine support. It's called a short immobilizer. It's a KED. The safety officer is speaking with the EMTs inside to decide what to do next and what do they want us to do next. As you can see, if you can see inside the car, what they're trying to do again is immobilize the patient's neck and back. So they've actually put a splint on his back and attached it to his body. So when he is removed from the car, there'll be less chance of any further injury to his back or his neck.
Bob. Stand by the power unit, okay? We're ready to start in a second. Go ahead,
Because we're using power tools such as the Jaws of Life, we always have to worry about further glass breakage flying into people's eyes. So at some point, they probably will be breaking the glass to the two doors that are there. The driver's door is almost completely rolled down, but there's still a couple of inches sticking up, so that is a hazard that will have to be taken care of. And possibly the passenger's door glass also will have to be taken care of. Generally, if you notice that all of our Hurst power tools are already set up, that's not the normal scenario. Usually the equipment is not there at the accident before we arrive, so while they're working on the patient inside, we'll be setting up our gear, our equipment to use. So that's why basically our guys are standing around a little bit at the moment. At a real accident scene, they'd be very busy putting the equipment together and getting it into position. Okay, it looks like they have the patient immobilized, and what they're doing is they're covering him with a blue plastic cover to protect him from any glass that may break when they open up the door. If you look behind me, you'll see a firefighter fully clothed with a 1.5-inch charge fire line, just in case there is a fire. This is a standard procedure at every accident, every accident we'd go to, just in case there is a fire. He's ready to go to work if he has to. Now if you look at the car, you'll see a firefighter breaking glass around the car. Again, we have to get the danger of glass breaking later taken care of now. It's going to remove the glass again on the passenger side. And he's also telling the EMTs inside to be careful. If you notice when he used the center punch to break this windshield, or the side glass, the glass did not shatter in all directions. It basically just dropped straight down.
Okay, we got all the glass cleared? Glass clear. Okay, guys, we're going to take this door off. Are you guys ready? Okay, fire up the power unit.
Okay, they're starting the unit now, and they're working together.
A little bit of noise here, okay?
They'll proceed to open up the driver's door and attempt to take the patient out that door. Sometimes these doors will open up very easily, very quickly, and other times it seems like it takes forever. Every car, every accident is different.
Hey, you and Chris, Bob?
They're using the spreaders on the Hearst power tool. That's actually to get a good bite later when they go into the side of the door. You'll see this shortly. As a matter of fact, this tool and the motor is very new to us. We've only had it a couple of months. Replacing the one we had for around 20 years. Now they're taking the spreaders and they're going in the side of the door. This usually will pop the door out. At times it won't open because there is a Nader pin. If you remember Ralph Nader, it's a safety pin he had put into cars many years ago. But it does give firefighters a problem when we're trying to open it up. So if they're not able to break the door open with the spreaders, they will follow up with the, oh, they did it. I was going to say the air chisel. We had the air chisel ready just in case we couldn't get the door open, but as this time it worked. Doesn't always work so easily. We always have our equipment ready to be used at any time. We never know what we have to use, so we have to have everything ready to go at once. As you see in the front of the car, they're taking off the hood. Pardon me, they're taking off the windshield. It's called the...
It's okay with that red. It's all right with that.
It's called the Glass Master. It's for cutting through the windshield. Again, it looks like we're probably going to have to take the roof off. That's one reason why they cut the glass on the windshield, if we have to do that. So they took the door off complete. And they're continuing to work with the Glass Master to remove the front windshield. Now you'll see firefighter Steve LeClaire using the cutters on the A-post, that's the front support beams of the car. Doesn't take long to cut through that steel post with the right tools. And again, this is a scenario where we're unable to take the patient out without doing this. Generally, we'll do the minimum amount of work as long as it doesn't endanger the patient. Now they're cutting what's called, or they're making pie cuts, P-I-E, pie cuts into the roof to make it easier to cut the roof, to pull the roof back when we're ready. After they've made the correct cuts in the roof, they'll take this pike pole, they'll put it over the top of the roof on the car, and then they'll pull the roof back over the pole, and we'll have a convertible. Or half a convertible, I should say. Apparently, the EMT inside the car has concluded that the dash is wrapped around apparently the legs of the victim still, and they're going to have to proceed with what's called a dash displacement. You're going to have to push the dash away from his leg in order to free him. Right now they made a couple of strategic cuts with the cutters.
You can flip that up.
When they're ready, we're going to use the ram tool, which is another part of the hook first tool, to actually push the dash forward, away from the leg of the patient. Quite a remarkable tool.
Bring the ram in, you're out of there, man.
The EMTs inside the car, all while this is going on, is checking on the condition of the patient, talking to the patient, making him stay calm, checking his vitals if he can, letting him know that we're all there to help, and just to bear with us, and we'll get him out as soon as possible. They're taking the jaws cutters, spreader tool, and they're using it basically as a vise, and they're putting it closer to the A-post area, so they'll try the ram having less distance to spread. With a smaller car, we wouldn't have this problem, but this American car is a lot bigger than normal. Okay, if you can see, I had to change batteries for a second, so I wasn't speaking.
He's free now. We're going to remove him.
Okay, the patient is free. The dash roll-up or dash displacement was successful. As you can see, the front end of the car is pushed forward. Now we're going to help the EMTs extricate the patient. The other EMT has the longboard, you can see, and then the stretcher. So now we have to work to remove the patient as a team. They freed his legs, but they've decided that they have to go out the passenger side, which would make it easier to remove him, apparently. I can't see, so I can't really speak on it.
Take him off that side, guys. Take him off that side.
Well, apparently they've decided to remove him again from the driver's side. Sometimes you're not sure. The safety officer told me that his legs were apparently trapped or underneath the brake pedal, so that's why they had to push the front end away from his feet, and they are taking him out the driver's side. If you ever have a chance to play a victim in one of these scenarios, you really should do it, because it's very enlightening to see what it's like. Okay, they removed him from the car on the longboard, and then they will strap him to the stretcher, get him as far enough away from the car as soon as they can.
Somebody else on the floor.
They've strapped him to the board now, and then they'll wheel him to their ambulance. Very good. And that concludes this section.
We're going to change our schedule a little bit here. We're a few minutes ahead of schedule. We're going to have Trooper Mike Mazza from the State Police with his dog Glenda. We've used him several times in this town. He's well known. He does an outstanding job. Mike is attached to the State Fire Marshal's office. which is our boss for the state, sets all the codes and so forth. Trooper Mike Mazza.
Hi. This is Glenda. She's a 3-year-old black Labrador Retriever. She's a purebred. She was trained and bred to be a seeing eye dog. We obtained her from Guiding Eyes in New York. She has worked with the state police for approximately 2 years now. She was trained in the state of Maine by the Maine State Police to be an accelerant detection canine. We utilize her to go into buildings or any other properties that have been burned to look for traces of an accelerant, a flammable material that may have been used by an arsonist. Our purpose to investigate any fire is to apprehend and prosecute anybody responsible for setting a fire. The training that Glenda undertook was a 5-week structured program of both classroom and practical work. Her training is based on the Pavlovian dog theory. If you all think back to your Psych 101 class, and Pavlov's dog had a bell, and when the bell would ring, the dog would associate the ringing of the bell with food. Eventually, if the bell would ring, the dog would salivate whether or not it became fed. And that's based, and Glenda's the same way right now, except rather than a sound, it's an odor. A certain odor that she'll find will make her indicate to me that there's a presence of a flammable liquid or product. Come here. Yeah. Right. What Glenda will do, and normally I would be able to put a few hidden drops around here, but we have to go to a fire right when we get done here. What she will do to indicate to me that there's something there is she will sit down and with her nose she'll tap the strongest source of a product that's on the ground or anywhere else. We could find it on furniture or inside a building. What we also will utilize her for is if we go to a major block fire, we will bring her into the crowd. I will give her a command, and just as everybody here has done, has walked over and pet her, she is sniffing and looking for something on the bad guy, and she will pick the person out of a crowd. Normally, if somebody sets a fire using an accelerant, they oftentimes use more than an eyedropper full. They use 1 gallon, 5 gallons, 10 gallons. Inevitably, it's going to get on your clothes, and she'll be able to pick you out of a crowd. Glenda's ability to detect the presence of an accelerant is much greater than ours. We as humans have approximately 5 million olfactory cells in our nose. That enables us to smell. Dogs have approximately 220 million olfactory cells. That's the difference between us. She's capable of detecting, and it's been documenting, less than a microliter, which is a millionth of a liter. It's probably smaller than a pin drop onto the ground. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just pick a few people and just hide a couple drops in the crowd, and you'll see how she works. She'll walk in and she'll sniff around, and then she'll sit and point with her nose when she finds something. I'll hide just I have a flammable liquid in my pouch right here, and I'll put a drop down at some feet. The only time Glenda gets to eat is when she works. She doesn't eat out of a bowl like other dogs. She has to train every day in order to keep her up to snuff, but it's also the only way we can feed her. So every time she eats, it's out of my hand. That's the only way. So as you can see, she's not a starving dog. She's fed quite well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a couple people out, put a couple drops down, and you'll get to see what she does.
We're a little bit ahead of schedule. When Trooper Maz is done, I'd like everybody to funnel over between engine 1 and the front of the ladder truck. We're going to have a live fire demonstration. I would like 4 volunteers to actually sit inside the trailer. It's going to be a live fire. You will have a slight smell of smoke on your clothes when you get out. It's 100% safe. We have 2 safety officers, charge lines. It's to get a feeling of what an actual fire would feel like. Hopefully no one would ever experience. You have to be 18 years old, 18 years of age. So if there's 4 volunteers after this demonstration, they can come up to see me, and we'll explain what the whole procedure will be.
What? Normally in a fire scene, before Glenda goes in anywhere, it's my responsibility to go in and make sure the scene is somewhat safe for her to go into. As you see, she doesn't wear boots like the firefighters do. She doesn't wear a jacket or a helmet like they do, so she's totally unprotected. Her only protection is me being able to go into a scene and determining it's safe for her to walk into. This is a little bit of a difficult scene to do because the winds are blowing and we normally take a lot of time. Time is on our side. We're never in a big hurry to gather up our evidence and get out of there. But although people think she's peeking and watching what I'm doing, she has no clue what we're doing. She really doesn't. So we're going to walk around. I'm going to give her a few commands, and we'll walk her by the people and see if she can find anything. If you see me turn her around, it's not because I know she missed a spot. It's because she exhaled. Unless she's breathing in through her nose, she's not working. So the only thing that makes me a little different than all of you here is I've spent a lot of time training with her, and I know some of her little quirks. Anybody could work her in 5 minutes, but getting down some of her funny habits and some of my funny habits, we work together, and I know what to watch for. That's how she reacts to the presence of a flammable material. Although a parking lot I should have thought was not a real good place to work her because it's very common to find oils and gasolines and other materials in the parking lot. And as I was halfway around, it dawned on me she'll probably find something in the parking lot, and we'll both look pretty foolish. She's also trained to discriminate against certain odors and certain items that she may find. Hey. So if we were to go into a restaurant fire and the kitchen had burned, she is trained to ignore the capon and the pot roast and the turkeys, everything you can imagine. However, she did walk out of one restaurant with a capon in her mouth, but she didn't indicate that there was the presence of anything on it. So you have to be careful of what she does. But she knows that the only way she's going to get fed is to find that odor. And she is one of about 100 in the world. Okay, the program's about 4 years old, 5 years old. She is responsible for half of Massachusetts. However, we've traveled throughout the whole state. She's available to any fire department in the Commonwealth that needs her. We've also traveled outside the Commonwealth to assist other fire departments. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, Mike. We greatly appreciate Mike's attendance today. Mike is one specialist, has all of Hampden County. Anything that goes down, Mike's on 24-hour call, and his schedule is just unbelievable. He has 2 calls right now that he put on hold to come to our attendance, so I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, Michael. If we could all very carefully be careful of the gear and so forth, mosey on over to the front of the ladder truck. We're going to be headed towards the front of the trailer where the plexiglass is and make a big semicircle. Agency and the Massachusetts Firefighting Academy. Between 1977 and 1984, there were 6,633 civilians killed by fire. An average of 5,634 died in structure fires, of which 96% of those were private residents. The criteria for the residence sprinklers are as follows. Only listed residential sprinklers are to be used. A minimum of 18 gallons per minute to any one single head, and 13 gallons per minute to all operating heads in the area, with an up to a maximum of 2 sprinklers. A maximum area of 144 square feet per sprinkler head, and a maximum of 12-foot distance between heads, a minimum of 8 feet between sprinkler lines. There's a maximum distance from the wall to one head at 8 feet. The major difference between a sprinkler in a commercial system and a residential system. A commercial system, example, a warehouse, a store, Ames, CVS, that system is designed to protect the property. A residential system is designed to protect life. It is not designed to replace the firefighter, put the fire out 100%. It's to suppress and hold the fire while the people evacuate the house safely. A residential system must have a fast response characteristic compared to the standard. The RTI is the response time index. It is a measure of pure thermal sensitivity which indicates how fast the sprinkler can absorb heat from its surroundings, sufficient to cause activation. The standard sprinkler head, rated at 165 degrees, would operate temperatures reach 165. However, because of the thermal lag of the link in the head, the air temperature could reach 1,000 degrees before the head was activated. At 150 degrees, second-degree burns start on the human body. What do you think 1,000 degrees would do to the human body? The response time index for standard sprinklers is between 225 and 700 degrees. The residential response is between 50 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The maximum ceiling temperature would be 500 degrees. Is that the fast response sprinklers should be capable of controlling or suppressing a typical residential fire with the operation of not more than 2 sprinkler heads, fast enough to maintain survivable conditions from the room of origin. Very important, the normal condition of a residential fire when the fire department arrives is between 4 and 6 minutes. With extreme heat and gases, these conditions are no longer survivable. In conclusion, these residential sprinklers are not to save your property. They are to suppress the fire for a safe escape of the residents. It has been proved they do save lives. Your best means of early detection of a fire is still the smoke detector. The sooner the detector activates, the sooner the people have to exit the home. There should be 1 smoke detector on each level of your detectors each month, and replace your batteries at least once a year. We still have the theme that we used from last year: change your clocks, change your batteries. Each spring and fall, when you advance or set your clocks back, change all the batteries in your smoke detectors. Smoke detectors are your best friend in the event of a fire. If you have them, replace the batteries this October 30th. If you don't have them, buy them today. Don't wait. Another day, fire is not choosy. It starts whenever it wants to. Practice an escape plan with the entire family with at least 2 ways out. Okay, I have 2 volunteers so far. Jim, make it 3. Marty, we are very honored to have State Representative Mary Roganis from Long Meadow with us. She has volunteered to go in the trailer. She will have a microphone in her hand, and as the fire starts, I would like her to explain the feeling she receives between the heat, the increased intensity, the smoke, This is the normal condition of just a wastebasket fire. Just realize it's at a low-key fire, never mind a full-blown bedroom fire, kitchen fire. So if I could have one more adult, we got him. Okay, everybody over here, just to show you the scenario. The fire's going to be on the right side inside the trailer. You can see through the end, you can see at an angle from the door. Try to get yourself positioned. Now realize the scenario of this is the typical go to bed, empty your ashtray into a wastebasket. The wastebasket smolders and ignites. Most wastebaskets are in the corner next to a set of curtains. The curtains ignite. This one head will activate. There's a clock right in this front window here. Not to exceed 50 seconds. The sprinkler head should release the water. The fire should go out. If it doesn't, it will. We have two safety officers. Captain Hawley's got the front door. Training officer Steve right back, he's in the rear of the trailer with a charge line. This is a very safe operation. We've never had any problems. There's been no injuries in all the years these trailers have been used. We are very fortunate that the sprinkler trailer did make it to the open house. Again, we're not here to promote sprinklers. I'm not here to say go out and do it. I don't have any information on the price. You have to call a sprinkler contract. I'm not out to promote any contractor. It's only to show you the effectiveness of a sprinkler system and also the smoke detectors. The smoke detectors will go out long before the sprinkler system activates. So again, if you don't have smoke detectors, do your family and yourself a favor. Leave here and buy some. You can't buy an insurance policy that'll do what a smoke detector will do during a fire.
Does this one sound better? Okay. Okay, we're all set. We're sitting in what is just like a small kitchen here. About to have disaster strike. And we're going to have the clock start timing as soon as the fire starts. So if you can see that clock, watch and see how long it takes for this thing to heat up. Okay. The fire alarm is sounding. The fire is going in the wastebasket. We're still dry. But now the curtains are going. If you can hear this sound at home, you'd be looking for fire. Can you see the smoke? It's getting hot. Looks like we're really in trouble, doesn't it? There we go. Sprinkler is now taking care of all the flames. What's the time, dear? 42 seconds and the fire's out. You don't have to be self-itself. Well, I was observing when we were inside. People I know who have these have bought them after a fire. They were just saying, I'm going to go, at the very least, check on my smoke detectors. Probably the sprinklers. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very very much. You can see the effectiveness of this sprinkler system. There's pictures worth 1,000 words. You saw it. This was only a small wastebasket fire. The detectors, again, were the first sign of notification that there was a problem. Please get smoke detectors and install them. If you have any problems, where they go in your structure, call us. We'll be more than happy to come out, locate them for you. We don't promote one over another. They're all UL inspected. Okay, we're gonna minor change of schedule now. If everybody would just move away from the aerial ladder. We've already had Glenda.
Go get in the kitty corner because the sun is.
Eddie, we're gonna head back with the tanker.
Yes, guys, look at his tail.
said that was interesting. Joe, you want to move the truck because you said your truck's going to be all white with a fire extinguisher. Oh, no kidding. So you better go move it. Okay? Yeah, they've been going pretty steady.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir. Can you hear me now? What? No, I'm all right. Testing 1, 2, 3.
Really loud.
And then if you have to get back.
As you can see, we're very good at putting fires out, but not too good at starting them.
Okay, we have a flame. All right. Jeez. Okay, best way, cover. If you can get right up to it, just put the cover on. Definitely will snuff it out. You're just eliminating the air completely. See that? Baking soda. Again, forms a blanket over the top. Will knock it right down. And again, the extinguisher. If you don't want to get too close, make sure you shut your stove off. Get in there, shut the stove off first. And a good, a damp cloth or towel right over the top, that'll also smother it down. We're having a real tough time here getting this stove fire to go today, but we'll go on to the extinguishers anyway. There we go. Easy enough to knock down, like I said, with a cover. You just set it right on top. It's out. Again, try and turn off the fuel going to the fire. Towel right over the top. All done. Basically, for home fires, that's your best way around it. Just smother it. Again, if you want to go with the extinguisher, every kitchen should have an extinguisher. It's really important to have an extinguisher and know how to use it. Reading the label is very, very easy. It's just basically pulling the pin, shooting it at the base of the fire with a sweeping motion. You want to make like you're sweeping the fire with a broom, and you'll just knock the fire right down. Let's see if we can. light this. Hopefully we can get it going. Has anybody here ever used a fire extinguisher? Chief Hatch, all right. There we go. Okay, if you have a fire, if you watch the tape inside, I'm repeating what the tape said. If you come across the fire in a very early stage, if you can knock it down in 30 seconds or less, then you want to tangle with it. If you are inexperienced, if you're not in any type of turnout gear, you don't want to play with this fire. I don't know where this is going to go with the wind, so you pull the pin, point it at the fire, press it to expel, and sweep into the fire. Gone. Takes you more than 30 seconds to do that, or if you empty it, if you're getting close to empty and it's not knocking down, you've got to get out of there. Anybody else want to try this? Come on up, 8 years or older. Just get in line right here, and what we'll do is see how many people we can get on these extinguishers. Bill. Bill.
Is this what it's like to look for somewhere?
All right, Chris, come here. Okay? The pin would be an extinguisher. You pull the pin, just drop it. You don't care about it. You hold the extinguisher, you squeeze this. Okay? So hold your hand right on there. Squeeze it, and watch it go back and forth. Go ahead. Walk right up to it. Okay, that's it. It's out. All right. Who's next? Come on, Nicholas. Ready? You know to pull the pin? Oh, you got this one? That's right. Give it a squeeze and walk a little bit towards it. Right down at it. Come on, forward. All right, good one. Look at that. The people over here may want to come around a little bit. We have a few extinguishers to go through. Jeff is going to knock this one down. Okay, Jeff, come here. There'll be a pin in here. You pull the pin out, and then this is the trigger mechanism. When you squeeze these two together, that's the trigger. That's where it comes out. You want that pointing that way. Okay? Squeeze it and walk right in at the fire. Walk in, point it, sweep, all done. Very good. Mike, right up to the line here. The pin is out already. We're almost out. Let's try it and see if we can knock this one down. Good. Right in. Sweep it. Oh, this one's dead. Let it go. Back up, come right back. Okay, Mike, pull the pin. Oh, there you go. Drop it down. Pick it up. There you go. Right up to the line. Okay, right in. Give it a squeeze. Okay. Woo, okay. Knock it down. Tim's going to knock this fire down right up here to the line. Hey, Tim, now you know you pull the pin. It won't actuate without the pin. We already pulled that, right? Okay, let's see you do it. Sweep back and forth. There you go. Knock that one down. Who's next? What's your name? Brian, come on up to the line. Just like that. Now always remember, you got to pull that pin first, okay? Ready? So give it a squeeze. That's right. Look at that. You put it out. Who's next? Thomas. Come on, right up to the line. Okay, ready?
Lock right in on that, squeeze it, and sweep it back and forth. It's out. Boy, that's tough, isn't it? That's why we say everybody should have an extinguisher in their house. Little extinguisher like this can really knock a fire down. If you have a fire and you knock it down, don't feel like you don't have to call us. Call us. Let us come out and make sure it's out. If it's something that started somewhere in the house, let us double check it. No problem. Yes. Kelly's going to knock this fire down. Come on over here. Okay, Kelly. Have you ever seen one? Ready? Squeeze. Squeeze hard. Okay. We ran out. Let's back up. Maybe you can pull that pin out for me, Kevin. All right. There you go. Grab right a hold of that. Right up to the line. Okay, here. Ready? That's right. Lean on it. Ready? I did it. You did it. Yes, your name. Eric. Let's knock this one down. You ready? You got that? You think you can do that? All right. Very good. Very good. Your name? Ricky. Come on, Ricky. Right up to the line. All right. Check it out. Sweep right in. Oh, look at that. What's that? What's your name?
All set? Hi, I'm here with East Long Meadow Cable Access Channel, and we're live on the scene with the open house at the fire station. I'm going to introduce you to some children that put out a fire just a few minutes ago. What's your name?
Kelly.
Kelly.
Mike.
Mike.
Jeff.
Jeff. Jeff. Jeff. Oh, we have two Jeffs. Kelly, and you said Mike, right? Was it scary to go up to the fire?
Yes.
But you put it out. Are you afraid of fire?
Yes.
Yes. But you know how to use an extinguisher now, right?
Yes.
All right. How did you like putting out the fire?
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
Were you scared?
No.
No? You just went up? Did you
Yeah.
pull the pin?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you remember the most about putting it out?
I don't know. The white stuff coming out.
The white stuff coming out? How did you feel when you went up to that fire?
It was kind of fun doing it.
Kind of
'cause
fun.
I've never put out a fire before.
Yeah.
And
Have you ever seen a fire?
yeah.
Yeah? Did
Yeah.
it scare you?
No, not
Did you
at
know
all.
what to do if you had a fire?
Yeah.
Do you have an extinguisher at home?
I'm not
You're
sure.
not sure?
I'm
If you
not
do,
sure.
you'll have to find out where it is, right? How did you feel?
It was fun.
It was fun. Have you ever seen a fire?
Yes.
Yeah? Did you put it out, or did you have to get an extinguisher or be involved with it at all?
No.
No? Do you feel confident that you could do it now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks all for being here.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye. Let me just get names.
Anytime, Ken.
Okay, they're about to light the fire. We have Ken Blood assisting us with the lighting of this fire.
Start the clock.
And he's getting out and leaving us in. A lot of smoke. Fire alarm just went off. It's going up what would be a drape. And I can feel heat. How do you feel, Lisa? Hot. Hot. How about you, Joe? A little bit smoky. I feel like I'm in front of a barbecue. And the water just went on. Oh, that was it. Very safe. Happy to be in here. No, not at all. Oh, we got another minute. Okay.
Put a lead on.
All right. Hi, I'm here with Mike Mazza and his dog Glenda. It's a female dog. He's part of the canine group with the Mass Fire.
We're with the Mass State Police. We're assigned to the State Fire Marshal's office in Boston. Currently, Glenda and I are assigned to the Hampden County area to assist the fire departments here. We work under the district attorney. With Glenda, however, I'm responsible to cover the western half of the state.
So you're living in this area right
Yes,
now?
we are.
You are. And Glenda goes home with you every day, I
Yes, she
hear.
does.
She does. She's like your, is she your pet?
No,
would you...
she is a state police dog. However, she, when she's not working and she's not given a command, she is just a regular dog. She's a pet.
Pup, huh?
Yeah.
Are you going to have puppies?
No, she's not.
No, she's not going to,
Never
huh?
a puppy.
This is Glenda, and we won't have another Glenda, unfortunately. Now, you train her daily to keep
Yes.
her...
Glenda's on what we call a food reward program, which means that the only time she gets fed is when she works. If there's not a fire to go to, we have to simulate something to create a scenario in which she thinks she's working and looking for a flammable material. She can detect approximately 30 to 40 different materials in a fire scene that would be utilized to burn a structure down. And if we don't have a fire and we have to simulate something, we're both training her and feeding her. She doesn't get to eat out of a bowl like other dogs. I wear a pouch on my belt and I feed her when we work.
Okay. So you train with her every day, basically?
Yes, we do. We're trained up in Maine by the Maine State Police, and we continue our work every day. We train about 2 hours a day, every day, and it's based on the Pavlovian dog theory, where Pavlov's dog, a bell would ring, and the dog eventually associated the ringing of the bell with being fed. Well, it's the same thing with Glenda, except rather than a sound, it's an odor.
Okay, and there's 40, you said 40 some odd cents of...
Approximately 40 that we have already identified that she can detect. Everything she detects, we have to have confirmed by the laboratory in Boston.
But it helps you find it, it locates it
yes.
within the fire.
What she can do is cut down the man hours dramatically. We can go into a large business or a large loss, and within a matter of minutes to an hour, we can detect and locate the presence of a flammable liquid, which may have taken a team of 5 investigators a week to do in the past.
Okay, so she speeds up work, and she's a good dog, and I'm sure you're glad to have her.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She really is.
And how do you feel about the going to town and introducing, I guess, all of the...
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. People in the Commonwealth should get to know that we have this tool available. She literally works for you and I.
Yeah, she sure does.
So she should get the credit that's due and let the people see where their work is going.
Now, is there only one dog in
No,
this?
there's 2 in the state. There's approximately 100 in the world. Okay, there's 2 in the state. We cover the western half, or we're responsible. However, we've gone everywhere in the state, including out to islands, for Pete's sakes. We've been boated out to some of the islands off our coast.
That's
to
great.
do fires.
Very interesting job.
Yeah, it is.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to talk to you. She's pretty big. Oh, yeah. How old is she?
She's 3.
She'll come around, probably come in, and we stand, I would suspect he would come in about 3 o'clock, this way, away from the crowd, coming in, and the cars coming over the road. You might want to catch him.
As he
Your
comes...
shade, so you're not gonna follow him all the way around. Here he comes. There he is.
We have the approach of the helicopter here at the open house. You can see it off in the distance. Should be landing any minute now. Here it's swinging around. And from what I understand, they will be opening it up to view the inside of it. It has a nurse, a surgeon, and the pilot on board right now. of people are watching this event right now. The helicopter's getting pretty loud. I don't know if you can hear me on over the sound of the helicopter blades. Well, the helicopter has landed. Standing here with Rich right now, watching all this take place, along with all the other spectators. Rich, my understanding is this helicopter goes into use for what purpose?
It's primarily used to help move anybody that needs to get to a hospital in a hurry and they don't have time to do it on the ground to an ambulance service. So they've got to take somebody, for instance, from here to Hartford as an example, to the hospitals down there. They can evacuate that person very quickly with this helicopter because then it's only a few minutes away.
Now, is this Lifestar?
I believe it is.
I know, familiar with that aspect of the use of the...
The temperature of the engine has to be reduced to a certain level before he shuts down. That's why you like to stop either before they take off, they got to get a certain amount of temperature, and the same when they go to shut off, they got to reduce the temperature to a certain level before they shut that engine down. Otherwise, they can do damage to the engine.
So really, those scenes from Mac where they kind of take off and land real quick, maybe aren't so accurate.
No, they're not. Those engines have already been completely warmed up before that happens.
Oh, is that 2 pilots in the front of the helicopter right now, or?
I don't know, Melissa. As far as I know, according to the fire chief, it's my understanding that we had 3 people on board. We had a qualified nurse, the surgeon, and the pilot. And supposedly all these people have been specially trained in this type of evacuation and in this part of medicine, where, for instance, as a standard EMT that is trained for the fire department cannot, by their training, get into a helicopter because they don't have the level of training or sophistication that these people have.
So it's just another step of training if you're an EMT or nurse or doctor.
I was talking to one of the firemen, and as he described it by trying to show in the level of height, he says, my training is probably about an inch high, like in a small book, and that of a chopper EMT is probably about 6 or 8 inches deep in education. That's how much more education they have to have compared to us on the fire department.
It's amazing the modern technology has advanced so many areas in small ways, but their great benefits are overwhelming. Right now we're looking at the East Long Meadow Fire Department ready and waiting in case there was a mishap or accident on the way down with the helicopter or taking back off. So they've been waiting here for the helicopter to arrive and we'll stay here. Always on. As you can see, people are now going over to the helicopter. They're going to be allowed to look inside and ask questions and view the helicopter itself and talk to the personnel that are on that helicopter today. It's load hold.
Load hold, yes.
The pilot of the light flight helicopter that you see here that we watched land today. You've been doing this for how long?
I've been flying Life Flight for 13 years. I've been with UMass for 10 years.
And did you have a pilot license before this?
Yes. I've spent some time in the Army and various other jobs flying, right? Yes. About 6,000 hours total flight time.
Okay. And the helicopter that we have behind us, as you can see,
it's a BK-117. It's manufactured in Germany in coalition with Japan. Japan makes the transmission. The Germans make the airframe, and the engines are actually American. So it's a little bit of everyone involved. That's correct, yes.
And is there more than one in the Massachusetts area?
We have two. Boston Medflighter has two, and then of course down in Hartford they have two also.
Okay,
so New England, there's six helicopters to cover New England this time.
What is the most frequent reason you're called in?
Well, we do a variety. We do trauma, we do cardiac, and we do general medicine. So the percentage of the flights usually runs 50% trauma, probably. I would say 40% cardiac, and then the rest is general medical problems.
And sometimes a rescue or a regular ambulance crew can't get.
Well, or that, or the patient is still entrapped, and they're doing extrication, so they'll call us. We do about 25% actual scene work.
I know we just heard of you landing in a precarious pine tree situation.
Oh, I don't know. It wasn't me, so
oh, okay. Alrighty. Last question, I guess, is you have a surgeon?
No, we have an EMS resident, emergency medicine resident on board that covers the 24-hour shift, and then the midnight shift is covered by a emergency attending.
Okay. And there's also a nurse.
A nurse, right? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And do they rotate the staff? How many?
They work 12-hour schedules. We work 4 days on, 4 days off. The nurses work 12-hour schedules, but their schedule varies. Some work 3 days on, 4 days off. It varies on their schedule.
Well, thanks for talking with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, I didn't know it was off the number.
Can't go in now, Nicolina. Nicolina? Somebody's dead. No, you can't go in. You stand right there. Go look with Nicolina. Go look inside the helicopter. No, I saw that. I'll go with you. Come on.
VHF, which that has its moments too. Yeah. I'd rather have UHF. You have the problem with repeaters and stuff like that, you know.
It's funny, this area.
Oh, they're killing me. That's it. They want to put a, the water tower? Supposed to look like the wire or something. Especially in a town like this.
You wanna go?